Hello and welcome to my channel where we make gourmet tasting cakes using a box mix. And today is the second episode of our spectacular Halloween extravaganza where we are making cakes based off of popular Halloween flavors. Today's flavor is based off of a popular Halloween breakfast. Can you guess what it is? I'm kind of laying some heavy hints. Blueberry. So stick around while we make something boxed, but better. Let's kick things off by preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a large mixing bowl, we are adding 1 white box mix, 3 large eggs, 1 cup of blueberry pie filling, and 2 tablespoons of berry blue gelatin dessert powder. And finally, 1 cup of milk. Mix your batter on medium speed until it becomes well incorporated. This will take about 2 minutes. I am adding some purple food coloring to my batter to give it more of that blueberry cereal color. This is completely optional. Pour your batter into 3 8-inch pans that have been well greased and floured. You can also use 2 9-inch round pans, however your baking time will be different. Smooth your batter evenly in your pans with your spatula. Now it is time to put our blueberry beauties into the oven. Alright, let's take a minute to break down the deliciousness that is blueberry cereal. For the cake, I decided to base it off of the inspiration of the actual cereal pieces, these adorable little ghosts. However, for the icing, I decided I wanted to focus on the sweet aspect of the marshmallows. And now when I was eating these marshmallows, I realized that they tasted very familiar, but I couldn't figure out why. And then it dawned on me, they taste like cotton candy, like blueberry cotton candy. And so for our icing, I have made a delicious blueberry cotton candy whipped icing. Let's get to it. In your mixing bowl, add 1/3 cup of blueberry jam. It is best if it is room temperature. Then add 2 tablespoons of berry blue gelatin dessert powder. We are going to use a total of 2 cups of heavy cream. However, to get your gelatin and blueberries to incorporate better, start with just about 1/4 cup. Then mix on low speed until your gelatin and blueberries become well incorporated. Repeat the same process a second time. You will notice that your mixture now becomes thick and creamy. Now we are adding our 1 cup of vanilla pink cotton candy. Now add the remainder of your 2 cups of heavy cream. There is something about the cotton candy melting that is just so satisfying to watch. Mix on medium speed for about 1 minute, and then you have the option of adding more food coloring if you would like. I am going to add a little more purple to this. Mix this on high speed until your icing begins to look like a very thick whipped cream. A good indicator that you have reached the thick consistency that you need is when you can see your beater leaving marks in your icing and it does not lose its shape. When it is finished, cover it with plastic wrap and place it in your refrigerator to chill. It has been 25 minutes and our cake layers are done. There are 2 ways to check to make sure your cake is done. The first is the poke test. Simply poke with your finger, and if it does not leave an indent, it is done. The other is the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, you know your cake is done. Now we need to let our cake layers fully cool before icing. Here is an example of how some cakes can get what we call humps on them. meaning that the cake bakes a little unevenly on the top. This in no way interferes with the flavor of the cake, however it can make it very difficult when icing your layers together. Since the cake is thinner on one side and then gets thicker on the other, your cake will become lopsided when completely assembled. This is very common, and the easiest way to fix it is to take a bread knife or a cake leveler and cut off the hump until your cake becomes flatter so that it will lay evenly when you flip it over. Now our cake layers are ready to be filled and stacked. Put a large dollop of your whipped icing on the middle of your cake and using your butter knife do a side-to-side motion at a 45-degree angle until you push your icing evenly over the layer. Repeat the same process with your second layer. Add your third layer and it is now time to give our cake its crumb coat. A crumb coat is designed to do exactly what it sounds like, to catch the crumbs. This gives your cake a more professional look when it's finished. All we need is to ice a very thin layer of icing over our cake. We don't want our crumb coat to be too thick because we are going to do a final ice over this, so it is okay to see the cake layers underneath. That is actually what you want. Now it is time to give our cake its final ice. Using a thicker amount of icing, we are doing the same exact motion of the back to forth wave at a 45-degree angle to push our icing all over the sides and top of our cake. This whipped icing is so light and fluffy, so it will just glide over your cake. Use a light hand when you ice so that you don't accidentally scrape too much off. I am only icing the outer top edge of my cake and leaving the inside thin with the crumb coat. This is because when I am decorating, I want to use the rest of our blueberry pie filling on top, and I don't want the icing to be so thick that it begins to slide out from underneath. However, this is just how I want to decorate the cake. I would like to remind you that it is your cake. You have full creative liberty over it, so design it however you would like. For our decoration, I am using a piping bag without an icing tip and filling it with some of our leftover whipped icing. When you're done, pull up the edges of the bag and be sure to give it a twist so the icing does not come out of the top. Then hold the bag between your thumb and 4 fingers, using your 4 fingers to squeeze the icing when you decorate. Cut a large hole in your piping bag. I am using a bowl to give myself a guideline of where I want to pipe my border. Holding my bag straight up and down, I am going to squeeze and let the icing slowly build up, and then stop squeezing and give it a little twist when I pull away so that it doesn't have a peak at the top. And I am repeating the same process all over the entire guideline that I have given myself on the cake. Spoon your leftover blueberry pie filling on top, and then using the back of your spoon, gently press it toward the edges. You don't have to worry about getting it completely to the edges because the pie filling is liquid enough that it will settle to the edges on its own. For our border, I am using some blueberry cereal and gently pressing it into the bottom of our cake. To give our cake added color and a festive look, I am strategically placing blueberry marshmallows all over the sides and top of the cake. And there you have it, our delicious blueberry cake. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you have any questions, ask in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. I will see you next week, and as always, thank you for joining me on Box But Better with Jenna. Do you think this would count as breakfast? Like,
no.
It's got cereal on it?
No.
Milk?
No.
Agree to disagree?
We'll agree not to have diabetes.
Fair enough.